Well, good morning, everybody. This is Jim Ransom welcoming you back to another weekend edition of Morning Jim, where we try to keep poetry on our minds for a few minutes each week and tie poetry in some understandable ways to life. This past week included, as you know, St. Patrick's Day. And of course, the Irish are known for some very good poetry and poets, including some written by expatriate Irish as well as by real Irishmen still living in Ireland. And some of them are American citizens. I'm not going to discuss St. Patrick himself, who is known in legend as the man who drove snakes out of Ireland. If indeed he did that, he deserves to be a saint. Yeah. So the first poem I'm going to read today is one by the venerable William Butler Yeats. Many of you have heard or read this poem yourselves, and it's called The Lake Isle of Innisfree, one of the great lyric poems in the English language. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honey bee, and live alone in a bee-loud glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of the linnet's wings. I will arise and go now, for always night and day I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore, while I stand on the roadway or on the pavement's gray. I hear it in the deep heart's core. I can sympathize so much with that poem because for many years, Marcia and I owned a little cabin on a lake about an hour's trip from Topeka. And it was as if the cares of the world dropped away from us when we walked in the door and sat on the porch and looked out over the water in the evening. I like this line. I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore. Oh, I've heard that many a time. A few more comments about the poem might be worthwhile to some of you. The cabin he is envisioning was to be made of clay and wattles. What the heck is a wattle? Well, it's a sort of twisted bunch of hay or straw that was used to make a cottage, a handmade cottage in Ireland many years ago. And then you might want to know what a linnet's wings are all about. Well, the linnet is an Irish bird that is very, very close to our purple finch that we have a lot of here in Pennsylvania. I don't think there are very many in Kansas, but it's a finch. And it's about as big as most of our finches, like the sparrow, the common house sparrow. But it's a beautiful bird, and the linnet, when I saw a picture of one, looks almost exactly like the purple finch. It's not purple, however, and neither is the purple finch. They have a pink to red breast and beautiful red feathers near the tail and black and white striped wings and underwings. They're quite a handsome bird, really. I'm feeding a bunch of them out in my bird feeder, probably right now this minute. Okay, so that's wattles and linnets. I'm going to move on, and we can say that the Irish are sometimes known, and not unfairly, for their drinking habits. The next poem by Barton, Sutter, describes an Irishman who has decided to lay off. It's called The Sober Song by Barton, Sutter. Farewell to the starlight in whiskey, so long to the sunshine in beer. The booze made me cocky and frisky, but worried the man in the mirror. Good night to the moonlight in brandy. Adieu to the warmth of the wine. I think I can finally stand me without a glass or a stein. Bye-bye to the balm in the vodka. Ta-ta to the menthol in gin. I'm trying to do what I ought to, rejecting that snake medicine. I won't miss the blackouts and vomit, the accidents and regret. If I can stay off the rot gut, there might be a chance for me yet. So long to God in a bottle. To the lies of rum and vermouth, let me slake my thirst with water and the sweet, transparent truth. I think that's quite a well-done poem. Subtle, rhyming, and all the right drinks in the right places. It is a great poem. I can't tell you much about Barton Sutter, except to say that I found another really good poem I want to read you by him, but not today. Today we're sticking with the Irish themes. But I'll get back to him later, and when I do, I'll be able to report more about his biography. So, that was fun, and I hope Barton Sutter succeeds. Next, I'm going to read a poem that I think expresses the sadness and longing most Irish felt during their first generation away from the homeland. It was written by an Irishman named Eavan Boland. It is pretty straightforward and self-explanatory. I'll have a few words to say when we're finished with it, but here it is, and it's called The Lost Land. I have 2 daughters. They are all I ever wanted from the earth, or almost all. I also wanted 1 piece of ground, 1 city trapped by hills, 1 urban river, an island in its element, so I could say mine, my own, and mean it. Now they are grown up and far away, and memory itself has become an emigrant wandering in a place where love dissembles itself as landscape, where the hills are the contours and colors of a child's eyes, where my children are distances, horizons. At night, on the edge of sleep, I can see the shore of Dublin's bay, its rocky sweep and its granite pier. Is this, I say, how they must have seen it? Backing out on the mail boat at twilight, shadows falling on everything they had to leave and would love forever. And then I imagine myself at the landward rail of that boat, searching for the lost sight of a hand. I see myself on the underworld side of that water, the darkness coming in fast, saying, all the names I know for a lost land. Ireland, absence, daughter. Aye, that's a sad poem indeed, but I think a very well done one. And I might say that there we are. I mean, another week has passed, and at least here in western Pennsylvania, and I suspect all over the northern half of the USA, a lot of us are thinking about seeing some more signs of spring. It can't come too soon. Blessings on everyone, and I hope you'll be listening again next weekend. I'll be here. Bye now.